These might be some of RYOBI's best products ever. They might even be better than Milwaukee PACKOUT. I said it, and I am a huge PACKOUT fan. I'm gonna show you some very exciting stuff from RYOBI that I didn't even realize was on the market. You may not have either. Let's go. I purchased everything you see here myself with my own money. If you'd like to check it out for yourself, I'll put a link in the description and the pinned comment, as well as that shop button here on YouTube. Let's go. Now the RYOBI LINK tool and organization stuff has been out for a couple of years, but I have not tried any because I kind of had a mental picture that it wasn't very well made. And I don't know why, I've just never put my hands on it, never looked at it until recently. And once I actually put hands on it, I thought, it's kind of good. Let me order some of this stuff and try it out and see. And if you don't know what RYOBI LINK is, these cabinets and stuff can be hung on a wall without their modular rails, but you can also purchase these modular rails. These are plastic, but they're very heavy duty type plastic, just like the Milwaukee PACKOUT style wall mounts. What this is meant for is you can add to this or change out things as your organization needs change over time, or you just add more stuff to it. A couple of impressions straight out of the box. I opened this first. This is one of the things that kind of caught my eye first. I need some more places to keep drills and different type tools, batteries, chargers, that kind of thing. That's why I went with this one. There's actually another version of this that has a door on the front. I thought about getting that, but I was like, man, I don't really want the door. Some people like that look. I just didn't want that, but there is a version of it out there. Now, coming out of the box, there's literally very little stuff you have to do with this. All you really have to do is put the little shelf hangers on there and then put the shelf in. That's it. I like the fact that I didn't have to assemble this because I have to assemble something in a minute. Now overall, the construction of this is pretty heavy duty. I'm quite impressed with the construction of it. I mean, you're not loading this up with hundreds and hundreds of pounds of stuff, but the weight rating on this is 200 pounds it'll hold, and I believe it. It's very well made, high quality. So I was impressed with the first piece. I also picked up this tool organizer, and the reason I picked up two is just to show you two different options. I have zero need for both of them, but I did want to see what both of them were like, because you may not need the cabinet style. You may just want this shelf style. You still get the tool hangers on the bottom, and you get a nice little shelf up top for your chargers, extra batteries, any other tools that don't fit down here, stuff like that. This is a pretty good gauge metal. It also has slots on each side for hand tools and various other products there. So this might be more useful to you than the other, depending on your needs. All of these you can attach to a wall with regular screws or anything like that, or you can get these modular rails like I did. Next up was this beast. Not really a beast, but it's a good sized storage cabinet. Very well made. It comes in a bunch of pieces. I think it was like 3 different boxes inside a box. So basically it's flat packed and you have to assemble it with some screws. My only complaint or frustration here was that these little nuts and bolts were they were really small, so it's hard to get your fingers on there if you have bigger hands to get that nut started on the screw. Once I got all the bolts in place, then I tightened everything up. Everything was square, like I didn't have to worry about trying to square something up. It just snugged everything up with a little ratchet. Everything went together pretty quick, about 30-ish minutes to assemble it. Me taking my time. The instructions were very easy to follow. This does have a magnetic closure, so you don't have to worry about those things sticking out or anything like that. Overall, I would like to see the doors just a little bit more beefier, but I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. And I do like that color. I know a lot of people don't like the green, but I like it. So hanging this tool organizer on the wall was very easy. All you do is put that rail on there. The rail takes a few screws. Just make sure you hit a stud or something solid behind there to hold it, and then you're in business. And so far, this is one of my favorite things I've added out of this system right now, because I needed some extra space to store these cordless tools. Chargers, it does have a cord pass-through or a grommet, so your cords don't get tore up on the metal, so it passes through there. And then also extra shelf space in the middle. There's actually 3 shelves, one on the bottom, middle, and then of course on the top. This is a nice setup. Now I've got mine mounted a little bit high because of everything else going on here, but you might want to lower yours however you want to do that. But that's the great thing about this, is because it's so modular, you can just put it anywhere you want. Now I also added the battery holders because I found that on this Milwaukee PACKOUT stuff, I really liked having my batteries hanging on the wall where I could see them. If they're dead or need charged, I put them in the charger, and then when they're full, I put them back on these holders. I really like having the holders, so that's why I picked it up for both the 18 volt and the 40 volt RYOBI batteries. They have holders for both. You can fit 2 of these on a rail, so if you're thinking about how many rails you're going to need for batteries, I've got 4 of these batteries on there. Of course, some are in tools, things like that as well. I also picked up the small parts organizer. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, I like that because it's clear. I can see screws, bolts, nuts, things like that. Easily accessible, especially for some of your more most used stuff. Now they are kind of smaller, so this is going to fit, you know, little small parts and things. I don't know if it's good for like anything over maybe 1.25" screws. Anything above that's probably not going to work well in there, but for the smaller items, perfect, perfect. I also picked up these hooks. I picked up 2 of these. I'm probably going to buy more because these are just kind of utility hooks you can hang about anything on there that will hang. And I really like that on there. See here, I hung up the little sander on there and then also the little rigid light. You can also use the hooks to hang power tools like this. Those are just super handy to have. One thing to note is their storage boxes also have the Link stuff built into the back. So you can also hang those on the wall should you need to for any purpose. All right, so I did have to move some things around. So I moved my parallel clamps and pipe clamps up and to the left over the other F clamps and things, but I really do like how this all come together. Just this whole setup here, I'm very happy with that. Now, if you're wondering what this is, there's a whole video on that wall. It's called an Omni wall. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check out that tool storage next. One thing I want to point out on this tool storage organizer here is it's holding quite a bit of weight right now. I mean, I've got 2 full-size routers up there, the new DeWalt, the new Milwaukee. This thing is a new Impact, the new XR Impact from DeWalt. It weighs a bunch. This thing is heavy. It is a beast. You might see the thing wiggle a little bit, but the reason it's doing that is because I have this mounted on that siding. If it was mounted to a solid wall, it would not move at all. And the reason I know that is all that is mounted to a solid piece. I put a piece of plywood on there with studs behind it and really solid. That made it solid. These are the same way though. So if you're familiar with Milwaukee PACKOUT, you can see that the little plates flex a little bit because it's on that siding. It is mounted into some hard stuff behind it, but you still have that siding that's giving a little bit, which is why you see it wiggle a little bit, but it ain't going nowhere. Now, the cabinet is one that I'm least impressed with, although it's still a good cabinet. There's just a couple things I would change if I was manufacturing this. First and foremost, it hangs on that same rail, or you could just mount it to your wall with screws, however you choose to do that. Now this cabinet and the tool organizer both have little feet on the back, stick off the back. In case you do use the rail, you'll need that to keep it pretty much level. Pretty easy to install, they just pop right in. Now as far as the cabinet goes, what I would change is these doors. They're just a little under beefy for my taste. I would like to see that better. But as far as capacity goes, this thing will hold quite a bit, especially if you wanted to put your stains or your finishes or something in it. Now it's not a flammable type, anti-flammable cabinet or whatever those are. It's not one of those. It's just a storage cabinet you can put on the wall that will work with that Link system. And that's why I bought it. If I was doing it over again, would I buy this? I mean, it's nice. I like that it does have magnetic closure. I just wish it was a little, I don't know that I would buy it again, put it like that. I just think it's nice to have, but I just wish it was a little bit heavier duty, if that makes sense. I do like how it looks. And it's just holding stuff. So I don't know, maybe I would buy it. I like it, and so I'm torn on that one. I'm torn on it. You tell me what I should have done. And another thing that I'm not a huge fan of, it's not staying level. That's gonna bug the far out of me. Look, at the top, I can make it level, and then it quickly goes unlevel. But I think it's because I've only got it on 1, 2, 3, 4 of those links, and one of them is empty. I think I'm gonna have to move it over. I'm probably just gonna live with the doors not lining up because I do like having that hook there, which I'm going to rig up a way to hold up the dust hose for the CNC. Also, the wall cabinet does have a pass-through on each side, little grommets. It's also got like a rubber ring so that it's not gonna damage your cords or anything like that. So you can put chargers in there should you choose. Now, as far as our storage box goes, I have this one and the smaller version. These are equally as quality feeling as the Milwaukee PACKOUT in my opinion. They even all have very similar heavy duty style hinges. The structure, everything inside of these boxes looks and feels very much like PACKOUT. I get a lot of this. Because RYOBI and Milwaukee are owned by TTI, they're coming out of the same factory. Maybe. But this is the way I look at that. Olive Garden and Red Lobster are owned by the same parent company. You ain't getting shrimp scampi and those awesome biscuits at Olive Garden. But you're also not getting the endless salad at the Red Lobster. So, fun fact, Miss 731 and I's first date was at Red Lobster. I got the Admiral's Feast. What I'm getting at is you're getting a very similar quality to Milwaukee with these RYOBI. It just depends on what color you like and the connection type that you like here. Now, Milwaukee does have a massive fan base following that's making a lot of extra stuff for their tools, like these PACKOUT inserts that I have and a whole host of other things. It's just an awesome system. But so is the RYOBI Link. So if you've been thinking about trying to get into the tool storage, organizing your shop, this might be the way to go because they're really good. So if you're trying to decide if you want to go with RYOBI or the Milwaukee style wall organizers, what do I think you should get? Well, it just depends. I really like the Milwaukee wall plates because they're big, square. You can get the individuals as well should you want to hold up or just mount like one thing. But I do like this wide wall plate because I've got 2 of the small boxes plus a thin box behind it plus 2 sets of batteries on there in a relatively small area. I think it takes up a little less space actually than the RYOBI because of the way the RYOBI system works. Now you can hook these together, the RYOBI as a long wall, and I'll show some footage here of some that RYOBI has on their channel and stuff. Like you can do a lot with this, so it just depends on which way you want to go. Now it also depends on what battery system you're in. If you're in the RYOBI system, you're gonna love this stuff. I'm telling you, being able to just at a glance see what batteries are there, if you keep them charged, you know they're charged if they're on the wall, and the ease of just in and out, keeping everything organized at your, just at a glance and at grabbing your tools and things. That's one of the things I've absolutely loved about having the OmniWall organization. I just like being able to see where my tools are at, reach, grab, use, put up, and it just keeps the shop cleaner. It helps you work faster and more efficient, and it just looks better. It makes you want to come in the shop. If you walk in a shop and crap's everywhere, it's one of those things that's just like, ugh, I gotta clean up before I start. I like being able to have it all in one spot. This is my favorite though. Even if I didn't have RYOBI tools, I would pick this up. I did pick this up, but I do have RYOBI stuff too, so. But that's a good little thing. And speaking of systems, you gotta check out my online community, school.com/731woodworks. It's free to join, and there's 3 master classes there of my students who have made money woodworking, teaching you how they did it, as well as my blueprint and 45 plus free project ideas that make money. School.com/731woodworks. Let me know what you think. RYOBI Link, that rhymes, Milwaukee PACKOUT, or French Cleat, or some other organization stuff that maybe you have. Comment below. If you like this video, you gotta check out RYOBI batteries that are changing forever. You gotta check that out. Click in that box and get you the big old virtual fist bump. Thank you.